Hello everyone, welcome. I would like to read you a poem from a beautiful little book called The Christian Book of Mystical Verse, edited by A.W. Tozer. And the title of the poem is The Spirit of Prayer, written by Michelangelo, the painter of the Sistine Chapel. Many people don't know that he was a multi-talented man, and a man of great faith, obviously, and he wrote this beautiful poem, and it was translated by William Wordsworth. So it's a poem by Michelangelo, translated by William Wordsworth. And here it is. The prayers I make will then be sweet indeed, if thou the Spirit give by which I pray. My unassisted heart is barren clay, that of its native self can nothing feed. Of good and pious works thou art the seed, that quickens only where thou sayest it may. Unless thou show to us thine own true way, no man can find it. Father, thou must lead. Do thou then breathe those thoughts into my mind, by which such virtue may in me be bred, that in thy holy footsteps I may tread. The fetters of my tongue do thou unbind, that I may have the power to sing of thee, and sound thy praises everlastingly. A very beautiful little poem by Michelangelo. Well, what I like about this prayer is that it acknowledges something that a lot of people don't know. And that is, God doesn't need your wordy prayers. And any prayer that you come up with, if it's going to be a good prayer, then let it be of the Holy Spirit. Let the Holy Spirit guide you in prayer, because you don't even know what to ask for, but the Holy Spirit does. So God assists you in prayer. It's the most beautiful and wonderful thing. He assists you in prayer. And then through intuition, inspiration, what you know in your heart, wordlessly, spontaneously, your prayer is raised to God. And if there are any words come, they're inspired. So God assists you, and he also assists you by telling you the first step in prayer. In the Old Testament, there's the most wonderful verse. God, speaking through his prophet, said, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still. That's the first step. Be still. Cease your strivings. Cease trying to impress God or anyone. Cease trying to come up with some clever thing to say. Cease your crocodile tears and mea culpas. Just sit quietly, waiting upon the Father. The mystics understood that, especially some of the mystics like, Madame Guyon. I often talk about her. She understood that you just sit quietly, waiting upon God. Be still. And he will make you know of his presence. He will inspire you with good thoughts and realizations and understanding. And if there's something that you've done that's not so good, that you need to be sorry for, he leads in that too. He makes you aware of it with his light. It shines upon it and you see it. and you're sorry about what you see that you did. You regret. But you also see at the same time that you can't make yourself better. He wants you to see your mistake, and then you can be better. And so it's a sad glad. He leads you to be still. Remember, David in the Psalm said, he leads me beside the still waters. And when you sit quietly and become still. Now, I want to say something about thoughts. Your thoughts you're not in charge of your own thoughts. That's a subject for another video. You can read about it in my books. But I just want you to realize you're not in charge of your thoughts. Who knows where they come from? But your thoughts are the result of having responded and still are responding to the world, reacting to the world. And your thoughts are naughty. And they have been incorrigible. But now, with God's light, if you meditate properly, if you get my little meditation, learn to be still, it helps you to do that. You'll learn to watch thoughts instead of struggling with them, instead of falling into them, which you always did. Now you will see that, well, there's always temptation there. They're always tempting you. But the main thing is that they're out of control. They're running amok. You sit down and your thoughts are running away with themselves. They rush to everything. What you're going to do, where you're going to go, where you're going to buy, what happened yesterday, what she said, what he said, what happened 10 years ago, what kind of car you're going to get, what you're going to have for dinner, what you forgot to buy, what letter you have. See, they go on and on. So what you have to do is just learn to watch them without falling into them on the one hand, or struggling with them on the other hand. Just watch. And when you stand back and watch, you're no longer struggling with them egotistically, and then God's light takes care of them. They lose energy. Often they dissolve away. Often they go away. Sometimes they come back, but when they see you watching them, they go away again. You see? So because your mind is a product of the world around you, you'll see that more and more. It will be many years. It will take many years of practice to learn to watch every thought. See it rise, see its source, let it go. Now, most of the thoughts that you have are not so good, but God helps you there too. He will, when you practice a little meditation, you will have little realizations, little insights. You'll see something, it'll lead to an insight or to understanding. You'll see something about other people, or you'll see something about science or in nature or something yourself. You'll realize. And it's just beautiful. So let me read it again now. The prayers I make will then be sweet indeed, if thou the Spirit give by which I pray. My unassisted heart is barren clay, that of its native self can nothing feed. Of good and pious works thou art the seed, that quickens only when thou sayest it may. Unless thou show to us thine own true way, no man can find it. Father, you must lead. Do thou then breathe those thoughts into my mind, by which such virtue may in me be bred, that in thy holy footsteps I may tread. The fetters of my tongue do thou unbind, that I may have the power to sing of thee, and sound thy praises everlastingly.